Hackers are getting more and more sophisticated each and every year. And if you're not careful, they're going to give you a miserable time on the internet. Are you doing everything you can to protect yourself online? NordVPN software allows me to safely browse the internet without being traced. NordVPN is now more than just a VPN provider. They have introduced threat protection, giving you even more comprehensive security against cyber threats. It blocks trackers, it stops malicious ads, and it steers you away from harmful websites and files. Enjoy a safer and more private internet. NordVPN will continue to hide your location, encrypt your data, and one account you sign up for can secure 6 devices. You can sign up to NordVPN now risk-free on a 2-year plan plus 4 months free. Just go to nordvpn.com/football terrace and give yourself real peace of mind when online. What we can even do is give you a 30-day money-back guarantee. So get yourself signed up now and enjoy the rest of the NordVPN Top 6 show. Welcome back to the Top 6 show. As just said, sponsored by NordVPN today. Get the QR code above my head scanned or get yourself signed up now to protect yourself online. Kaz will be joining us. You're just running a little bit late, but what an elite panel we have for you tonight. Down in the bottom right corner, back again by popular demand. Monstar here, back in Chelsea. How you doing, mate?
I'm good. Hope everyone's good.
Yes, I'm sure we're going to get into it today. I think we're going to get into it today as well. So looking forward to it. We've got man like Dom Husam in the house. A little bit happier after a midweek reprieval after the embarrassment against Nottingham Forest. Igao is here as well, dressed like Tupac. That's what he told me. This is how Tupac was dressed. Was it like 29 years ago today or something?
In the Keep Your Head Up video.
Very random. There we go. And there he is. We've been looking for him since midweek. In fact, we've been looking for him for over a week now. But Patrick has resurfaced. He is safe. He is sound. He is all good. Welcome back, Patty. You all right, mate?
I'm good. I'm blessed, stressed, but also feeling refreshed. It's the weekend. Hey. Blessed because obviously, you know, I'm here. I'm alive. I'm good. Stressed because of what happened with Tottenham. I'm refreshed because it's Friday. So, yeah, let's go. Let's do this.
You have him celebrating Terry. That was hilarious.
Mate, yeah. I mean, yeah, it was crazy. Yeah. He's so happy. All you could do is go, yeah. That's it.
The thing is, I never post celebration videos, and then I thought, you know what, 2-1 Champions League, Kane scored, we're through to the knockouts. You know what I mean? I was ecstatic. It went around the ground. Harry Kane 2-1, 95th minute, boom. And then all of a sudden, we get the nod that, they're going to VAR. And in the stadium, like 4 or 5 minutes feels like an eternity because we don't get the updates on TV. We don't get to see the replays. And, oh, man, yeah, what a shit show. But anyway.
And we will certainly be getting onto that. It's actually the first talking point the viewers have voted for today. Before we do that, though, I do want to shout out to NordVPN. I know a lot of you in the last few weeks have signed up. A lot of you are using their services to protect you, to make sure your data is protected, you're not being hacked, bank account details, etc. are safe and sound. But there are other things as well, just like what I've got on my screen right now. A lot of you have said you haven't been able to get it working, but I certainly have. And I'll put myself in big, as you can see. Here is the app for Satanta Sport, as you can see. Now, this cost me $2.99 per month, right? And I'm going to scroll this so you can see. That's Champions League football, Premier League football, La Liga, Serie A, Bundesliga, Uber Eats, Formula One, UFC, Championship. I don't know what that ball is, but there we go. There's the FPL, the Eredivisie, Europa League, Conference League, NBA, NFL, NASCAR, and Bellator, golf, if you like a little bit of golf. That is $2.99 per month for all of it. It is $2.99 a month for all of it when you use a VPN and put your location into Moldova. A few people have had a few teething problems, though, and what I've been told, I put some details in the description below. All you have to do is make sure you clear your cookies and your something. Is it crash or something? Like, basically, clear your web browser history. Then you do it, and it should be working. Because, of course, what it does, it checks where else you've been searching. And if it goes, 5 minutes ago, you were in England, now you're in Moldova, it knows you're chatting nonsense. You just clear your cookies, and it's working fine for me. And as I said, that's $12.99 a month with them. There's also similar services available with Peacock, as you can see, for $4.99 per month. that gets you movies, Premier League, everything. So go and check that out. Some more offers for you a little bit later with NordVPN. But I wanted to start, as the viewers have voted for, with the situation that happened in the week. Were Tottenham robbed, or were Tottenham just poor on the day? What are we saying about this? Because we know the offside decision was given, as you can see here, for this. The lines were drawn, but still 3 days later, 2 days later, 3 days later, I'm hearing Tottenham fans talk about we were robbed. It wasn't fair. What are you saying, Patrick? Do you still feel robbed, or do you just think actually on the night we just weren't good enough?
Okay, there's many facets to this question. Beautiful question. Thank you for asking me first. I'm glad you got my spin on it first. You get to go. I get to go first. But listen, up until the 60th minute, we were absolutely trash. We were awful. It was painful watching. I was just like, what is going on? Like, it literally felt like Jose 2.0. The handbrake was on. We looked scared. We just didn't look like the team that was up for it. Sporting just came to our ground and they played with no fear. And obviously, all we needed to do was win the game when we go through as group winners. And I just don't know, man. Look, we were second best to everything. We looked leggy. We looked lethargic. There was no energy in the team. There was nothing going on, nothing whatsoever. The creativity was poor. Our wing backs, for the system that Conte deploys, our wing backs aren't good enough. That's the bottom line, because there's no creativity in the middle. You get the wing backs, on the flanks to provide that bit of oomph and that extra bit. Other than Bentancur, no one in that team was pushing the ball and actually trying to go at people until Gil came on. But anyway, 1-0 down. 60th minute is when we started to turn the screw and we were all over them. And I feel from that moment on, we deserved to win the game. But obviously, we didn't take our chances. We had quite a few chances. We didn't take them. Went down to the 95th minute. I was impressed when Brian Gill came on. He looked really good. He was just basically beating players, just pressing from the front. Looked electric, looked good. He was energized, and he also had a bit of creativity, added a bit of extra spark. Eric Dyer had a good chance. I think he was like point blank, headed it wide. Bentancur should have had a bit more composure when he was I think Brian Gill laid the ball off to him and all he had to do was whack it, at the goal. Should have been a goal, blazed it over. And then obviously the whole stadium went nuts. And as you alluded to earlier, I had it even recorded. We was going crazy. Like, we thought we had won the game. Harry Kane with a clutch Champions League goal through to the knockout stages. And then obviously, as we know. And my thing with VAR is, I know people, Arsenal fans, Gal, I saw your tweet and it almost drew me out. And I thought, I'm not even going to get into it. Let me not reply to these Arsenal boys. It just feels like VAR now is here to chalk off all goals. All they're doing is looking for a reason to disallow the goals. So, every millimeter blade of grass, is his nose in front of the other guy's elbow? Is his toenail bigger than the other guy's toenail? Is he wearing size 9s and the other guy's wearing size 11s? It's just ridiculous. Moments like that, if it's taking you 4 or 5 minutes in injury time to decide if it's onside or offside, just give the goal. Like, how are you giving offside for that? It's crazy. And it's just literally ruining football. As I said in my tweet, you can't celebrate anymore. You can't actually enjoy the moment because you're just worried.
Patrick, let me interject for a second there. Let me interject on that. When Man City's goal was disallowed in 2019, did you celebrate?
Of course I did. I'm a Tottenham fan. It was against us, of course.
But that's my point. This notion that you can't celebrate. No, the team that rightfully has a goal disallowed doesn't celebrate. Celebrate it. Like, this notion that is killing football. I didn't see anybody last night when PSV rightfully had 2 goals disallowed for offside via VAR. No one was saying football's dead.
Yeah, but if it's right, then cool. But if it's so tight, Terry, and it's literally deciding games, it's different, isn't it?
Offside is offside, Patrick. Offside is offside.
Did you think it was offside though, Don? When you saw it, did you
think it was offside? Listen, offside is offside. Listen, Patrick, listen, let me just say one thing to you. I've been defending Spurs on all social media platforms. You know this. I've been riding out for your shit club, so just hear me out. When it comes...
Imagine, where are you in the league right now? Don, where are you in the league? Like, come on, no, there's no need for this.
My airplane hasn't even taken off, brother. You've been rambling on about VAR for 7 minutes. Anyway, so when it comes to Tottenham Hotspur, there is absolutely no excuse for Tottenham to be in this position in this Champions League group. Let's just call a spade a spade. This is the easiest group in the entire Champions League for any big team / big club, and anyone else who is a lot more serious, would have been through already. Now, I pushed aside conversations about Conte's European record and blah blah blah, and I just okay, I don't think it's gonna be a part of it now, because this is a really easy group: Frankfurt, Sporting Lisbon, Marseille. Genuinely speaking, Liverpool, Man City, I'd say the same for Chelsea as well. They'd actually be through by the 4th game day, so or match week, or whatever they call it. So now, for me personally, I think the bigger picture is, even besides the whole robbery, because offside is offside, Patrick, don't move like the Arsenal fans. So besides the robbery, at this moment in time, you have to, I think it's Marseille you play in the final game. I think it's probably a draw and you go through. But if you somehow lose to Marseille and you end up in the Europa League or something mad like that, then all the stock you've been talking to the Arsenal and United fans about Thursday nights, now you're gonna have to do Thursday night content as well. So be careful. Be careful. You're speaking about robberies and you're on mute as well. So see, you're bottling it just like your team.
You're still on mute.
We can't hear him. We can't hear
You're
him.
on mute.
You're on mute.
He's choking just like his team.
The microphone robbed you.
Patrick?
Oh, Patrick.
This is just like Spurs trying to win a trophy. It's never happened, never works.
Did I ruin
Technical
the argument that
difficulties.
bad that his microphone just wouldn't switch on?
I've got no
No,
idea
we
what
can't
happened to
hear
it there.
I'm not on mute though.
There we go.
Yeah,
You're back.
yeah.
Honestly, that was
Finally.
weird. That was weird. Yeah.
Finally.
We couldn't
Can
hear
you not hear me? Yeah.
Yeah, can
Yeah,
now.
Yeah.
Can now.
Clip,
Can.
clip this, record it. KJ, I know you're in the gods watching. We are not playing Europa League football. Terry was asking about why didn't anyone go crazy yesterday? Because no one was watching those games. No one watches Thursday night football. And I swear to God, God be my witness, we are not playing Thursday night football. We are going to go through. So I'm all right. We're good. Tottenham will win.
Technically, you could technically still finish last in your group. That's how crazy your group is
We
right now.
could, but we ain't going to do that. We're still first at the moment, even though it has been a bit of a shambles. I agree with you, Don. But as it stands, we're still top of the group. Let us live in it. It happens.
So you're that
Champions
You know
confident.
what? I'm just going to say this, Patrick. I'm not even trying to draw you up. Do you understand that they went through the rules? And by the rules, they ruled that offside. And you can't say you guys lost because of that. You guys technically, you said it yourself, you lost because of the first 60 minutes of the game. You guys were horrible. And this is you at home. Aren't you now starting to get concerned that you have lost, 2 back-to-back games in the Premier League to Manchester United and Newcastle? You drew midweek. And in a pressurized week, all the pressure is now on Tottenham, Antonio Conte, to deliver in these next 2 games and relieve some of your pressure. Because if you don't deliver, guess what? You could be in the Europa League and you could drop out of the top 4. So it's big week for Antonio Conte, big week for Tottenham. And can you guys handle the pressure?
Igal's bang on there. Igal is bang on there. I would say this. I said it a few weeks ago. Out of all of the top 6, we know what Liverpool's problems are, but I'm still right now predicting they make it into the top 4. I still think they'll turn this round. Chelsea are underrated. We'll get onto that later. Man United are in very good form, and it's understated. I think Spurs are the most at risk right now of falling away from the top 4 and everything else. There is the football's so drab and poor, and as soon as your front line gets pressed, as soon as Harry Kane and Son get pressed by the opponents, your team falls apart. There's no plan B, and that for me would be a worry. There's nothing about your style of play that shouts sustainability to me. And I feel like, go on.
I just think that you guys love to hyperbole the situation. It's the same as saying with Arsenal. Arsenal don't score more than 1 goal in a game at the moment, so they're also in a bad way, and no one's really talking about it. But I hope we talk about it because it's the same. We're third in our group in the league. We're first in our group. Yes, we're going through a bad patch and a bad run, but we'll be okay. I honestly think we'll be okay. And to be fair, I want you lot to write us off. It makes it easier for us. When you put all this pressure on us, like Arsenal right now, they're first in the league and they have to sustain it. Their football's not sustainable. They're not going to stay first. They're not going to continue. So we'll be all right. Trust me, we'll be okay.
No.
Igal, just before you stay, I just want to say one thing. Just one
second, Husam. He addressed my club. I'm going to address it.
Go on, Igal. Go on. Sorry.
Deflecting, my guy. Stop deflecting away from what you guys are
I'm
doing.
really not. I'm just trying to say, I'm really not. What I'm trying to do is add some context to it and put it in perspective. because other teams are also, we're saying that Chelsea are underrated and this and that. Chelsea have had their issues. Arsenal definitely have their issues. Ramsdale again was all over the place.
The difference.
And you're conceding goals left, right, and center. If it wasn't for VAR, it could have been a 5 or 6-0 yesterday, last night, and you had a lot of your first team playing.
Get that. I completely get that.
So
the
you know,
difference, the difference.
What difference is there? Go on.
There's a big difference, right? You're still doing well in the league, but the way you guys are playing is horrific. At home, even against teams that you should be beating week in, week out, you're playing terrible. Away from home, you're playing terrible. The Manchester United game was shocking. Let's be honest. Don't even try to lie. That was probably some of the worst football you've seen in years from a Tottenham team. Then you go and at home against Newcastle, the way that you guys perform, your players making consistent errors leading to goals. When you need a goal in the dying minutes, guys like Emerson Royale playing no-look passes out of bounds. You have a team right now who's fundamentally looking like they cannot do anything right in certain games. When it comes to that final third, you can't put strings together. You can't score goals. Some of your best players are off form, like Son. And defensively, we know you have a shocking back line at times. You look at some of those players. Dyer had up and down form this season. You have a shocking player at right back, and your goalkeeper who's past his best. Your team fundamentally has a lot of issues, but yet you're just trying to compare yourself to other people and ignore the fundamental mistakes.
No, I'm not. What I'm trying to do is put some context in it, because Arsenal, they've been lauded all season, but there's also a lot of cracks and flaws in their system and their team. Ramsdale is crap. Let's be honest. And you lot can't score more than 2 goals in a game. So what I'm trying to say, Chelsea, with all of their issues.
I'm not deflecting.
I'm just trying to say
Arsenal doesn't make Tottenham better.
But this is the problem. You lot are talking like we're 17th or 16th in the league. We're actually 3rd, and we're still top of our group. So
yes,
even as bad as it is, we're still okay. Do you know what I mean? And I believe we can get better. This is crap football. I agree, and we're not playing well at the moment. But with all that being said, you lot should still actually put some respect on us, because we are 3rd in the league, as I keep saying, and we're 1st in our Champions League group. Like, it's not as bad as you
can I just say one thing on this whole crap football thing? Let me just say one quick thing. First of all, crap football is the most sustainable football. So I disagree with the thought that it's not sustainable, because they literally rinse and repeat every single game, defend and try to get a goal, and that's it. So I think it is sustainable. Attacking football is a little bit less sustainable than defensive football. And the second thing I want to say is, Manchester City, I'd say 99% of the people would say they're going to win the league. Spurs are 3 points behind Manchester City. So like people pretending that Spurs
they also have a game in hand.
No, but bro, we cannot sit here and act like Spurs are in crisis. They're not in crisis.
They're
3 points behind Man City. They're 3rd in the league. And Monstar, you're a Chelsea fan. Why are we pretending that Conte plays attacking football? This is him for the last 12 years.
Where, okay, so there's a difference between Conte at Chelsea and then Conte at Tottenham. First of all, let me just say, in terms of the table, Man United and Chelsea are right up Tottenham's arse, right? We win our outstanding game. If we win it or not, we don't know if we're going to win it. But if we do, we're in front of Tottenham. If Man United win theirs, they're equal on points with Tottenham. So we're right up, like we're right there. Also, obviously, Arsenal and City have game in hand as well over Tottenham as well. Another thing as well, the way Tottenham are playing, right, it's different from Chelsea when he was there the first time. Let's say the first season, not the second season, the first season. The first season, he had obviously Hazard, Costa, Fabregas, Matic, Kante. All these guys were just doing their thing. So they were going to outplay their way out of any situation, regardless if Conte was there or not. The second season, which I'm starting to see this season already at Tottenham, is this man is a coward. This man is an utter coward. I have never seen I have. The way this guy is playing so cowardly against any team, sit back and let's hit them on a counter, defending for their lives and hoping at one point they will see an opening. That's not going to last. These players ain't going to buy into that full time. They got to try and convince Harry Kane to stay, right? Are you telling me Harry Kane's going to want to stay with that football? No way. I'm telling you. Give it middle of the season, it's going to capitulate. I put my money on it because the
he stayed this summer, Monstar.
Huh?
He stayed this summer. Why didn't he leave this summer? He knew Conte was going to be the manager.
Bro, but he hasn't signed a deal though, has he?
No, but they play crap football. Using your logic, if he wanted to leave, he could have left already.
No, but he hasn't signed a deal. He's waiting to see what happens, and then he will sign a deal. I'm telling you, it's going to capitulate. Like the way it did under Mourinho and what happened against Conte, it's not going to last. I can tell you now. I don't think personally the footballers are enjoying the football. I don't think they are personally. Surely, the way I'm looking at it, it looks horrible, man. I didn't think it will be that quick, but I don't think he's going to last.
And do you know what I would say on top of that? I agree with you, Husam. This isn't crisis, right? That's an that would be maybe a bit of an exaggeration. But in the last 10 games, they've only won 4, lost 4. That's terrible. And when I talk about sustainability, I'm not talking about being pragmatic. I'm talking about the fact that barring the Everton game in that run, they're averaging over 15 to 16 attempts on goal per game, 4 to 5 big chances on goal per game. That isn't sustainable because look, the only team in the Premier League that could probably get away with doing that is Liverpool with Alisson because he's that damn good. No one else's goalkeeper are good enough to consistently keep out that level of shots. And that's not a dig at Hugo Lloris. That's just the reality of it. So I kind of look at Spurs and I think what's let them down this midweek is that offside, I think, has papered over cracks. It's been what everyone's focusing on. I've seen all the, it's taking the emotion out of the game. VAR's killing football. We don't want lines on the pitch. It's an absolute lie because the only time I believe managers, fans, pundits, when they say that is when the team they don't support or want to win benefits from those decisions and then still calls it out. So if Spurs win tomorrow because of very tight VAR, I expect to see Antonio Conte say, I don't want that win because it took the emotion out of the game for my rivals. You won't. And I think that's where my bugbear is. Like, they're not focusing on themselves here. And there are problems at Tottenham right now. Not huge. I'm not saying the manager's going to walk out the door. But I think there's very much they're third in the league, so why should we criticize? Listen, Ollie had Man United second in the league. We knew there was problems. We saw there was problems still. And I think with Spurs, I don't think all is well. I don't think it is. Son looking to leave. Like, all these things are going on behind the scenes. And I don't know, for me, I think there could be a little bit.
Spurs and United are different standard, though.
I get that. I'm going to do some super chats here, guys. Sorry about this. I just want to go through this. This is from Miguel. It says, if Spurs end up in the Europa, don't you dare call Conte an elite manager. This is a repeated pattern for him, horrible in Europe. That is fair. 34% win ratio he's got in Europe, which is mad. Chelsea always have issues, yet end up in the top 4, is what C's got to say. Jerome is a Spurs fan here, says, Patrick, please forget about Arsenal. Just focus on us. We are playing horribly, so deflecting to Arsenal is a poor excuse. For once, I agree with a gal. Is what Jerome had to say there. But viewers, like, what do you make of Tottenham? Is it a bad run? Is it poor form? Is it the standard? Where do you see it? I want to hear from you in the comments right now. The next talking point that's been voted for today. Actually, before we do that, predictions for this weekend. Spurs away at Bournemouth. What are you saying, Patrick?
3-0.
Monstar, what we getting prediction-wise for that? We see a Spurs win.
Against who are they playing again?
Bournemouth away.
Oh, they should be winning that one. Probably a 2-0.
Igal?
I'm going to go 1-1 draw. More hope than anything. But
Of course you are. Of course you are.
Husam?
I'm going 4-0 Spurs, and Spurs are guaranteed 28th October. Record this and come collect receipts. Guaranteed top 4 placement this season. I have no doubt about that whatsoever.
Same. I have no doubt either. We're going for a bad run, but we're definitely cracked top 4 again.
The only thing I'm going to say to Antonio Conte, you should look at your team and not complain about referees. Same thing he told Arteta after we lost to them, right?
Yeah, that's true. I agree. Like, at the end of the day, like, yes, the VAR decision was awful. I'm not going to shy away from that, but we should have beat them. And we should have been more clinical. We should have been better, basically. Shouldn't come down to that. But still, a bad decision is a bad decision. Doesn't matter, regardless of what it is, especially when it's so late. It was
not a bad decision. There's 2 rules.
It is a bad decision. It's a bad decision,
bro.
Rules. You as an Arsenal fan, I can't take. I'm sorry, I can't take you serious because you're never gonna. You're never just gonna look at it and be neutral and be decent.
There's 2 rules that they brought up. One, the rule where the guy who that hit his body, it was so close to where the shot was taken that they didn't count that as a second phase of play. And then the other thing was The reason why the lines were weird for some people are looking at Emerson Royale's body and judging it based off his body, but you have to judge it based off the ball and where the ball was in comparison to where
you can tell
body
on those
was.
pictures
That's
that he was behind, because there's other angles where it shows that Kane's on side. There's another angle which shows that Kane's behind one of the defenders'
But
legs.
it's not about that.
So what
You
picture
can
or
keep
still or thing are you
complaining all
looking at?
day. At the end of the day, it didn't count. You know what I mean? Like,
I
you didn't
agree,
win.
but I'm saying it's still a bad call.
You
It's a
have to
bad
hold
call.
the L. Like, you have to hold the L.
Yeah.
Just hold it. Oh, it's okay.
It's okay, man.
It's okay. Do you know what's funny? Like, you do realize Spurs are definitely going to get one of these decisions go their way, like this weekend, and there'll be no moaning, no talk about emotions. And I thought it was right. Go on.
I don't want it against Bournemouth. Save it. We don't need it against Bournemouth. Let's leave it for one of the big games.
You're gonna need it. You're gonna draw against Bournemouth.
Leave it
no,
for
we
another
don't need
game.
it against Bournemouth.
I hear you.
Save that.
Up next, the viewers have voted to talk about Manchester United. Are they ahead of their rebuild? They take on West Ham this weekend. Let's do this.
Let's go! Come on!
Oh man, we're getting killed at the moment. This is
Man United host West Ham this weekend. What are rivals thinking about that? Anyone can go with this first. Like, United are hosting West Ham. It's been a game that's been a bit of a banana skin, more so away than at Old Trafford in the last 5-6 years, but a difficult game for Man United generally. United are in good form though. Well, how do we see this one going?
I want to start. I have to start on this topic. I have to start on this.
Bro.
Because I am about to rain on this parade. This absolute nonsense that this Man United is back crap that we hear every single season. Listen, people, talking about Spurs and Arsenal and bottle this, bottle that, Chelsea with Potter. I don't see the United hype. I can't lie. I'm being dead serious. I really just don't see the hype. And like, when it comes to Manchester United, I really do think they will fall off because these players have shown their true colors previously with 2 previous managers, 3 if you count Ranić. So, a few of these players, of course, now they have Anthony who's just doing unnecessary spins and stuff, but I'm talking about like the old guard who were there letting you down, all over the pitch, like Rashford and etc., like we saw against Chelsea, for example. But at this moment in time, I think Manchester United, I don't see them finishing in the top 4 at all. And I do think that West Ham are going to get a draw or a win this weekend because we played West Ham and West Ham are just not an easy team to play at all. And many people might argue that we might have been slightly lucky as well to win that game. Last season, I was on the terrace and I called Declan Rice overrated. Now I'm actually going towards the other side because after seeing these constant performances, I feel maybe he's a bit underrated because I feel like the fact that his price is that high is not actually allowing people to like rate him properly. And I really rate him highly. And I do think West Ham are going to get something this weekend. And I really do not believe, in my heart of hearts, all rivalry aside, I do not believe United are in a top 4 race. I think now Man United are playing great football with Ten Hag, which is what they wanted. They prioritize playing good football, get results later. That's the Pep school of thought. First get the football right, and then the results will come. So, they're playing good football. They're doing well on the pitch, but I don't think they have the clinical edge to go all the way until May and actually finish in the top 4. So I do see them drawing or losing this weekend, actually. And I think West Ham are very underrated, even though they've had a crap start to the season.
I get what you're saying around the top 4 thing, and I haven't personally seen very many Man United fans who I know. I've seen a lot of the, at Ten Hag's armies, at United Troyes. I don't consider those people real unless you're willing to put your face and or your name on camera or in an emoji. I don't take your opinion seriously because you can say whatever you want.
Has put his face out there.
Oh, has he? Yeah. Again, I don't know. I'm just again. I still think the United train, the Chelsea train, this Liverpool train. I think they're all the same person. Personally, I've always felt that. I could be wrong, but
no, they're not.
No, I know, but it's they all tweet, but they all tweet in the same way about their own clubs. It's just it's a hack. We all know that, anyway. You get my point, though. I don't care about nameless, faceless people. I care about the opinions of proper individuals. And I haven't seen very many Man United fans say we're going to be in the top 4. I think United fans want to wait and see for this next 5 or 6 games, where we're playing a lot of the lower down the table sides, barring West Ham. But I do think you're wrong to suggest there haven't been improvements. United haven't, in my recollection since Fergie, I can't remember the last time we played 5 games on the bounce where we dominated the ball, we dominated the majority of the territories, and we created the majority of the better chances in a game. I don't remember the last time we did that. In fact, although we've beaten Spurs still a number of times since Fergie retired, I can't remember the last time we treated them like Spurs post 2013. I don't remember doing it. And we ragdoll to dominate the ball like we did for large parts against Chelsea in that first half. I know the substitution of Kovacic changed it, but why would it not? Top class midfielder. They had to change their system to address what we were doing. The only match since the Brentford game where we have been nowhere near our opponents was Man City, and they smashed us. In fact, since that Brentford game, and it is a key data point because that was the game where the manager essentially dragged them over the coals, made them run those extra miles, and said, from this point moving forward, you're going to work hard. You're no longer going to get away with what you got away with under Ralph, under Ollie, the back end of Jose. And since that point, the only team in the league with more points than Man United is Arsenal. Now, I'm not suggesting for a single second that Man United are quote unquote back. I'm not suggesting for a single second that we were even going to make the top 4. But I am saying that going into this West Ham game, I'm confident we can beat them. I'm not disrespecting them. Declan Rice quality. Skamaka, if he gets the chances, he's such an upgrade on Antonio. They've got Poqueta in their team. They've got a number of players that are very good. So I'm not overrating West Ham. But this Man United team has turned a small corner. There's still a lot more progression needed. There's still a lot more players that need to be purchased. But when you also look at this, of those 9 games that we've played since that defeat, those games also include playing and beating Arsenal, playing and beating Liverpool, obviously getting beat by Man City, smashing Tottenham, and playing Chelsea away. So 5 of those 9 games were against you lot. So
We lose every week, Terry.
So turn up.
Yeah, and we're crap, so you don't put us in the mix as well. According to you, we're crap.
Suddenly now, so based on that logic, there's no one Man United can beat in the league. They've got a little bit better.
You know what? Yeah, no,
I just think Man United just need to go about their business, taking it game by game. I don't think you guys had much not a lot of people had high expectations for United. So for you guys to even be in and amongst the teams fighting for top 4 come the end of the season, that would be like impressive in my opinion, because I didn't expect that. I didn't expect Man United to be first season under Ten Hag, signing all these players, for them to embed well and to do this consistently. I still think there's a long way to go in this season. And a lot of your second half of the season, you're going to be facing a lot of the big teams away from home also. So we're going to have to see how you do and face everyone in the big test. And I agree with Husam with the clinical part. I think that's what I was trying to say last week when I was talking about you guys against smaller teams. That's where you're going to have to figure out if you can do that.
Yeah, let me just. I'm going to do a second, Monstar. Sorry, I agree with that. We've got to go away to these teams. I also agree with Monstar, with Husam, that some of these players will let us down in the back end of the season. We won't make top 4. But where I disagree with Husam, and I think he's being overly hyperbolic himself, is that there is no improvement. I don't see what's improved. I don't see what's got better. A blind Stevie Wonder can see the improvement in our football. So
I know there's improvement, but not as hyped. Not as hyped is all I'd say. I see the improvements, of course. You got new players who are fantastic players, so you're going to improve. Yeah, but I'm not buying in yet. That's all I'm saying.
And you don't need to buy in. We don't need you to, because the facts don't lie and the facts don't care about your feelings. You know, we have improved tenfold. And I remember, barring Monstar, because he definitely wasn't on one of these. I know you other 3 were, and most of the other members of the top 6 panels. You all stated that if Man United finished above your club this season, it would be the height of embarrassment. So I've got every receipt and every clip ready. The montage is made. I'm just waiting to post it. If any of us finish in front of your clubs, if we finish, in front of your clubs, you man are getting cooked like a goose at Christmas. It's coming. It is coming. Sorry, Monstar, over to you, mate.
Yeah, in terms of the game, it's going to be tough. West Ham are not an easy team. Obviously, they got, top 3 DMs in the league, but not number 3. He's top 3, not 3. They are a very, very top team in it. But with Man United, right? I think they have improved. I'm not saying they've improved like tenfold. They've massively improved, but they're steadily improving, which is kind of the way you want to go as a club. you get what I mean? It's like he steadied the ship. They're playing good football. You can tell that, all right, cool. If he gets some good players in to fill out certain positions, then you lot will be so much more better. So if I was a United fan, I would at least be appreciative of what Ten Hag is doing, and I wouldn't necessarily be complaining. It's just they need to maybe get rid of some players and get some new players in certain positions, and maybe then they'll be able to challenge for the league. Do you get what I mean? But coming against,
whoa.
They're a
I'm
long
talking
way
about
away
not
from
now.
that.
We're talking about in the future. Like, listen, it doesn't take a lot to necessarily go from challenging from top 4 to challenging the league. If you buy certain players, good players in good position that can provide balance to your team as well, and improve you can easily challenge for the league. You've seen it with Arsenal. I don't know how far Arsenal's going to take this, but right now, at least you're saying it. They're challenging for the league right now,
Top 4
just
if
by
they're
making
lucky.
the right improvements. So it can happen.
Monstar's right though, and I'm going to say something here. And I need to make sure I word this right so it can't be clipped. I am not saying
Just
I'm
talk
a
your
fan.
talk, Terry. Don't.
No.
I'll flip
I ain't
that.
dumb.
Yeah, talk your talk.
I am not saying that I like them or I support them or they're brilliant. I still want them to sell the club, but the Glazers have allowed the manager to do some very important things behind the scenes so far that have helped the side. The eradication of player power. I'm not going to say it's completely gone now, but what's happened with the dropping of Maguire, picking players on meritocracy, the dropping and the discipline situation when it comes to Cristiano Ronaldo. Our owners haven't allowed any of our previous managers, even Jose Mourinho, when he was still at his peak, they didn't even allow him to go, that insubordinate player has got to leave, or this individual here that doesn't fit my style has got to go. They didn't allow Jose to do it. And this was when Jose was only 5 years off of after winning a treble in football. The fact they're letting Ten Hag do it is every bit as important as the style of football, the style of play. These players know that they have to work hard. So I don't think we're ready to challenge for a title yet. I don't even think we'll be ready next season. However, Monstar's right. If the behind the scenes situation is improved and we're running things well, we have the money to compete because we've fucking outspent City in the last decade. We just wasted the goddamn money and we've always allowed bad behaviors to set in. So, for me, as I say, I mean, there's a comment here that made me laugh as well. It says, at facts, Terry, you're still 6, so zip it. We are still 6. and we know that we are. However, that isn't how a trajectory works because that's just not how it works. We know the direction that we're going in, and we know.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go on.
Genuine question. This is not banter. Genuine question.
Go on.
A season and 15 games later, from the purchase of Jadon Sancho, I think there's been conversations going on about him. So I just want to know where you stand, because he's genuinely, and I'm being serious because I'm in the streets of Twitter. He's gone from being compared to the greatest wingers. Now that he's in conversations with Reece Nelson. I promise you, I'm not even lying. I swear to God.
Yeah,
he's actually in a conversation with Reece Nelson because he's dropped off so badly.
It's very easy for me. When we bought him, what he'd done at Dortmund deserved respect. I don't do this whole Bundesliga tax thing. I find it disrespectful. The expectation was high because of what he delivered, not to mention the money. First season last year, barring 1 or 2 games, absolute dog breath. This season started very, very well, but he keeps having those same dips. So he has the Chelsea game's a prime example. That was last season's form. The Gay away to Ammonia, that was last season's form. But he has had a handful of very good performances this year. However, I don't need to ride out for this guy. I'm a Man United fan. I'm not a Jadon Sancho fan. And you saw last night with Garnacho, a youngster making his first full debut. The guy took on 3 or 4. I don't care what the stats say. I didn't bother reading them because we all watched it. He was taking people on. He was putting defenders on their backside. He was going on the inside and on the outside. Give this kid more game time. Jadon Sancho needs to be braver. He needs to use his ability to beat people. There's no way all these fullbacks are as quick as him. He's got to be braver and push forward. If not, then you leave Manchester United Football Club. I don't care what I thought about you when you arrived. If you ain't delivering, you leave my football club. There's no player that is bigger than my football club. Ronaldo isn't, in my eyes. Therefore, Jadon Sancho, he is not even. He is a, He is a minuscule of legend, of player of legend compared to Ronaldo at the club. And if Ronaldo doesn't want to be here, I would close the door. I'd see him out the door if that made sense. So yeah, on Jadon Sancho, I get the conversation, but however, I'm not in all the spaces. I listen to some. From my point of view, I'm not really worried about Jadon Sancho because Man United, for me, we're in a rebuild situation. Everybody's got to a degree, clean slate under this manager, under his system. If he doesn't cut the mustard, he'll be sent away. We're not nitpicking right now where it's, United would be challenging for a title if they had a better player than Sancho. So I get the talk around Sancho, but for me, it's like I'm more focused on the way the club's being run, the style of play being introduced, and then you move on to the more nitty-gritty side of things by looking at individual players. But yeah, his performances in the last couple of games haven't been good enough. And if that doesn't improve, sell him because we need better. Simple as that for me.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
And you know what?
This
When you
price
buy
tag as
him-
well, it's approaching. It's a little bit off the Grealish, mark. And funnily enough, Almiron's playing better than both that Grealish mocked last season. So it is what it is. I think we move on. The reason why I'm not in the excuses business, and I do this for my own football club. So I keep the same energy. I don't do excuses. I've called all my world class players crap this season on the Terrace and on multiple different platforms. I'm not an excuses guy. When it comes to Sancho, I feel like he's had his opportunity on multiple different positions as well. He's played on the right, he's played on the left. He's even I wouldn't say in midfield, but played behind the strikers a little bit as well. So I feel like he has been given an opportunity, but I don't think he's taken it. But as you said, as long as you keep winning, I don't think that conversation will be brought up. But if you go on a 3-game, 4-game losing streak maybe, and he's playing like crap, people will bring it up.
I think as well, just to add on that, this isn't a defense of Jadon Sancho, but it's a fact. Because we're in another rebuild with a different style philosophy, there are going to be casualties, good, bad, or indifferent, from the squad that the manager inherited. This is the problem we have always starting new projects, is that Sancho just may not be the kind of player that Ten Hag wants for one reason or another. Sancho came in to be the fix on the right. We've already gone out and spent 85 million on another right-sided attacker in Anthony. So Sancho's already been played on the left. And for me, if we tomorrow clicked our fingers and had a proper number 9, Rashford goes onto the left. So Sancho would be on the bench anyway if everybody's fit. And Rashford under this system with Ten Hag is starting to get back to what is his best. Now, he's never going to be Eden Hazard. He's never going to be Lionel Messi. But what he can be for Man United is a player that contributes between goals and assists, 25 to 35 goals and assists over a course of a season. And he's starting to bring his goals back again. And I always thought he would with a better system and a better style. And yeah, so for me, Sancho, the conversation will happen, but it's just one that I'm personally not that concerned with right now. But I do get the challenge there.
Quickly,
sorry, go on. Go on. Go on, you go. Sorry.
I was going to say, Husam did mention the DM at West Ham. The one I say is probably the second best DM in the league.
Who's first best?
I'll just give it to Rodri. I think Rice is the best.
So you think Rice is better than Casemiro?
Overall, no. The problem is with Casemiro. The reason why I can't is I think it's unfair to just throw him in there because he just arrived and he hasn't played that many games. It'll be so unfair to rank him. It's just.
Do you think Rice is better than Partey?
Yes.
Yes.
Where's Partey been? Where has Partey been these last 2 years?
Okay, 1 second. You see how you said overall for Casemiro? Is it because of his injuries, or are you saying he's actually better overall?
Casemiro is that guy. We know what he's done. But I'm saying he's just come to the league and he hasn't even played that many games in the league to say you want to rank him amongst the Premier League.
So we're basing this purely on what they've done in the Prem.
What they've done in the Prem.
Yes, that makes sense. Yeah.
It's not fair to obviously if you're going to go overall, Casemiro's come on, he's done more than all these guys. To me, when I'm looking at the DMs in the league, Rice has over the last 2-3 years, right? He has been probably top 2, top 3. It's you could say Fabinho, Rodri, and Rice. There's not been any better.
100%.
I agree.
Right?
I agree.
Not actually ability.
Agreed.
Not actually what?
You're judging it based on consistency and availability, not
both. Rice has got ability. Rice has got ability and consistency.
When you're ranking players, right, or when you're judging players, you bring everything to the conversation.
Yes,
I hate when people say, "Oh, he's better than him based off ability." But
what does that mean?
He's got all that ability. He's not doing nothing on the pitch. I'm not saying Partey isn't that. But Partey over the past two seasons hasn't been the Partey we knew at Atletico Madrid. Am I wrong? Am I wrong in saying that? He's not been himself.
Nah, you're right. I'm glad.
He's been changed. He's been changed. His position was changed. He used to play. He never played as a lone 6. He's now playing as a lone 6 in the Arsenal system.
Let's not do the tactical talk, Igal. A DM's a DM.
Come on, yeah.
A DM's a DM. Listen, Partey, forget, Monster's bringing up Atletico. Even forget Atletico. I don't think he's played as well the last 2 seasons as he's done this season. Never mind Atletico. This is probably his best season overall, I'd say, in the Prem for Arsenal. So it would be unfair to just wipe out what Rice, Rodri, and Fabinho, and I agree, those 3 are the best in the last 3-4 years. It would be unfair to just wipe off what they've done because Partey's had a good 10-11 games. Like, come on, man.
But the conversation, Terry, the last time I was on here, they were saying he's not worth such and such money. Listen, I don't agree any player is worth that kind of money. But considering the rarity of players in that position who are of that quality, he is what you got to pay that kind of money for him.
Yeah, I think you do. Listen. I think he's excellent as well. When you talk about his ability, he's spoken about this on a number of occasions. Dean Jones was the first journalist I heard talk about this. Some may have done it before him, so I'm not claiming he owns the rights to this news. But Declan Rice also has the ideals of moving further up the pitch. Box to box is the phrase, but he wants to be more involved in the build-up and the play. And most coaches and clubs scouting him, seeing him as being able to do that. I don't think anybody would say Thomas Partey has the ability to be KDB. Some people think that Declan Rice could become maybe not as good as KDB, but far more creative, involved in the attacking side of things as well. I'm intrigued to see Declan Rice in a better team. With all due respect to West Ham, if he was in a Chelsea, if he was in a Man City, if he was in an Arsenal side, I think you'd see even greater levels from him. I think and also I don't know about you lot. I'd love to see him play in a team that are more expansive than what West Ham are with better players. I think he would stand out. And look, we've got Casemiro now, so it's very unlikely we're going to try and buy him. But he's a sensational player. I think he's one of the best up and coming midfielders in European football. Declan Rice, he really is.
If you say expansive, that rules out Chelsea immediately. To be honest with you,
no, it doesn't.
Graham Potter's going to play good football.
No, but not that expensive, Terry. Not that expensive.
No, Graham Potter plays attacking football. What are you talking about?
I listen. He does, but I'm not. He does, but I'm not going to go that far.
Rice is probably one of the most, out of all the 6s we're mentioning, right? He's probably the most flexible one of them because he's gone from a centre-back to a defensive midfielder to a box-to-box mid, and he's only 23 years old. Doesn't matter how Graham Potter wants to play.
I agree with you.
He's got the ability to do that. The other day, he dropped a 99%, right, pass accuracy. And it wasn't just backwards or sideways passing. When you look at the passing map, there was a lot of forward passing. He dropped a 90% long ball, like the long balls over the top, 90%. If that was Enzo Fernandez, or if his name was Enzo Rice Nandez or something, everyone would be going crazy. Right? So
that would be weird if someone's name is Rice Nandez. I can't lie.
It's true. If his name was Declan Dino, he'd be. And people, I already see it in the comments, like English tax, British tax.
I was about to talk on that.
Look at what he was doing against Liverpool and City last season.
And even, by the way, the last game against Liverpool.
At the risk of being cancelled, I don't care. There are certain players across Europe who are sometimes underplayed due to the passport they hold, or just by the fact that they might have fair hair. I remember when Haaland was coming through, I saw people do it. They were just like, nah, he ain't shit. This, that, and the other. And it was like, you could tell by their analysis, it was purely based on one thing, because man's got like that blonde hair, and it was like, no, he ain't the guy this dude is. It was like, what are you basing it on? Because it ain't football. You know when you can tell an undertone. Undertones work in every direction. It's like, bruv, you know how people are with Pogba, where they put him down, you're like, this ain't a football thing, is it, mate? Is it? Do you know what I mean? This is the haircuts and the dancing and the religion. That's what your issue is. And Declan Rice suffers with this. Some people don't like him because he's English. If he'd have carried on playing for Ireland, he'd get less of it. But if he was French, if he was Brazilian, if he was Argentinian, everyone would want this guy, and they wouldn't care how much he cost. This guy is every bit as talented as the Tchouaménis of this world. He really, really is.
He is, and I love Tchouaméni. Everyone knows that. But they're on this, like, to me, they're on the same level. Like, I can't put one ahead of the other. But the only reason why I might take Rice is because he's already here and he's already adapted, and he's been at Chelsea anyway, so it's not like he's changing environments. He's coming home. So what's the point?
Yeah.
Look at this guy. He's coming home.
Rice is as good as you lot. Yeah, Rice is as good as you lot are saying. I don't understand all the people in the comments saying English tax. The guy is good. Like, if you watch football and just see what he does, see his positioning, see how good he is at reading the game, see his passing, see how adaptable he is, like Monstar saying. The guy is quality, man. I've seen him time and time again live.
He is. And having said that, though, sorry, go on. Finish your point. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, I've seen him live so many times, and a lot of the times he's been the best player on the pitch when we've played him. like home and away, bossing games. He's quality, man. He's their captain at what 22, 23, and he just always seems to be just like the thing that you can see how good he is that it just looks effortless to him, no matter what it is. If it's a you know a European game, if he's playing for England or West Ham, no matter what team he's playing against, the guy just stands out, and he never has a bad game. He's always either having an excellent game or he's just getting on with it. He never has a stinker. That shows how good he is and how consistent he is.
No, listen, I agree. Having said all that, though, he is not stopping Bruno Fernandes on Sunday. And,
Oh wow!
he's not going to stop
Yeah,
Bruni.
no.
He's not going to stop him. He's not going to stop Bruno from creating, who's still creating at the same level. And he isn't losing the ball as much anymore. I think Declan Rice is great, though. I'd have liked him at Man United. It probably isn't going to happen. And Winter Surfer here says, I've accepted the inevitable. Rice will be a Chelsea player. It's always been about the price for me, but there's no point in wasting energy. Can Rice play 6 on his own? So
Yeah.
I think he can in
I
a
think
Chelsea
so.
team. I think he can in the Chelsea team with Thiago Silva and Koulibaly, Fofana, Chalobah behind him. It's about the team you're with. Like it'd be harder to do at West Ham than Chelsea, in my opinion. Jerome here says United have 3 players in with multiple Champions League titles and a manager that is making them play good football. They are a real threat, no doubt, is what Jerome's got to say.
They are not a threat, and one of them is
those
on the
players
bench
are on
and
the
wants to
bench.
leave. And I don't know who the second guy is.
Who wants to leave?
Varane,
Varane,
Casemiro.
Ronaldo. Yeah,
Ronaldo want to leave.
Ronaldo's gonna leave.
Varane and Casemiro ain't in their
You can't
prime.
really count
Casemiro's
him.
only going to go downhill from here.
Casemiro is still in his prime. Have you been
Terry, let's
watching
not
him
do this.
play? Sorry, he's been absolutely dominating and been
I
brilliant.
agree. Do not
Dominated
change
our
what I said,
midfield,
Terry.
unbelievable.
Do not change what I said. I said it's going to go
You're
downhill
100%.
from here.
Of
Meaning
course,
it's not
yeah,
going to go like he's not going to get better.
hang on,
next season.
Husam. No Man United fan thinks he's going to be brilliant for a decade, but he's not past his prime. He's 30. He's in his prime, and there is no sign of him. Unlike Fabinho, that's already fading at 28. There's no sign of Casemiro slowing down. Where are you getting this?
29, and he's not showing signs of fading. He's faded already. It's over.
Oh,
for
okay,
him.
cool. But
You
don't
get
just
it?
because you're Brazilian is finished at 29 doesn't mean my 30-year-old is.
No, I'm not saying he's finished. Terry, did you just
Hang
not hear what he said?
Anyone who's past their prime is basically finished when you're trying to grow.
No, I said he's brilliant, but he's gonna go downhill from here.
Yeah,
So,
of
like,
course.
you know, this whole Casemiro
In
talk is not
3 or
the
4
same
years
as
time, cool. But right now, he's brilliant. That's all I'm saying.
2
Bro,
years.
Terry,
he'll be
you're not
done.
going to get 3 years out of Casemiro. Let's be honest.
Why
Yeah,
not?
2 years he'll be
Okay,
done.
why not?
think-
Why not?
I
3 years,
genuinely
including
think,
this. So we're not going to get this year and 2 more. Why?
no, it's not only just him. You also have to look at what the manager is going to want. I think the manager is going to want a midfielder of the ilk of a Busquets or one of those kind of guys who can progress the ball and play a lot more technically. And I think Casemiro is not that guy.
But Casemiro isn't that guy.
Plays
So-
next to that guy.
So I think eventually,
we've got Dom.
similar to how
Yeah.
your goalkeeper is going to have to transition to a more modern goalkeeper, you're going to probably transition to a more modern.
That's already.
DM.
Hang on, mate, bruv. Sorry to do this. It's already happened. It isn't the guy for the long term, but Christian Eriksen is playing where De Jong would have been. People have got this twisted that Casemiro was purchased financially because we missed out on De Jong. But what the club did, and this is why I'm so impressed with the approach this summer, we didn't just get a makeshift version of De Jong. We spent money on a player that another position we needed, which was DM, and they'll go back in for De Jong or another player like him to play alongside Casemiro. So if we sign De Jong, Casemiro's not going to go on the bench. They'll be playing
they play
together.
People keep getting it twisted. They don't understand I said this the last time I was, or the time before when I was on here. De Jong is not a defensive midfielder. He plays next to a defensive midfielder. The same way Liverpool they brought in Thiago to play next to Fabinho, not to replace him. De Jong, even though they're not the same type of player, they play the same basic position, which is like the central midfield and the progressor of the team. He is going to play next to Casemiro, not replace him. It's simple as that.
Another super chat here from Ryan says, if Newcastle maintain top 4 after the Chelsea game and invest in January, they can be in the conversation to get top 4. The Geordies are coming for everyone. Pray for the rivals. A little homage there to Monstar. I mean, Newcastle they are looking good. I think right now I feel like they'll puff themselves out a little bit. They're doing it in games, and I think that will happen in the season. But they have looked very good. Especially in that.
You know what? I liked Newcastle till we played them, and they literally had the ball in play for like 30 minutes. And I was like, if this is what you're meant to be like fighting for a top team, forget it, man. They're crap. I'm sorry, I'll say it. They're crap. They literally had the ball in play for
what?
They had the ball. They against us. They literally had the ball in play for like 25 minutes. They rolled around every time you literally breathed on them. They weren't trying to play football. Nick Pope wasted 11 minutes of quality football time. That's not 11 minutes. They timed it.
Patrick is giving so much Arsenal energy.
Patrick, you're at home.
I don't like it.
Yeah, we're at home. So what?
Patrick, you have to rise above
play
this,
football.
You're at home.
No. Sorry, I can't have people praising Newcastle.
Rise above it, man. This is what Arsenal fans do.
This is a terrible take from you, bro.
It's not a terrible take. It's what happens. What are you talking about? Watch the game. They hardly played football. They were just rolling around, wasting time. I'm not salty. I'm speaking facts. They were that's not football, is it?
Bro, you're speaking your truth.
That is not football. That is your truth of the game. That's what happened. How can it be my truth? Okay, I was there in the stadium, bro. I saw it with my own eyes. They didn't try to come to play football.
Do you have a stopwatch?
I'm just going to give Newcastle their credit because they have one of the best defenses so far this season, the most clean sheets. They have a ridiculous goal difference.
I think that's how they come into play against the
they have the third best goal difference in the league at this moment in time, and that's definitely going to help them push higher and higher up the table. Because come the back end of the season, if they keep that up, it's going to help them. The way that they're playing, this is a combination of money spent, a good coach, and good recruitment. You got to give them credit. They did. It's not just like they threw money at whatever player they can get. They got players that fitted and embedded in quite quickly, and they got a manager who people laughed at him and said, "Get Steven Gerrard," but it's working out perfectly for them right now with Eddie Howe and Gamares and all these guys, Trippier. So, I think that
is. Listen, I get why you don't like them. Because they absolutely destroyed you at White Hart Lane. That's what this really is about, Patrick.
Destroyed us. There was hardly any football played. Destroyed
30
us.
Minutes. First 30 minutes, you were the better team. And then as soon as they press your front line, the rest of the game, they had you on toast. On toast, bruv. Poached Tottenham on toast. Do you know what I mean?
Hold the L, Patrick. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. Just hold the L.
It says it. Mateos here says Patrick is channeling. He's in a Klopp right now.
You can't speak. You can't speak on what happened. Like we got to like try and banter everything. Like, come on, man. Fuck it. Be serious.
Mateos, Husam is hating on everyone because his team is garbage. Bro, talk about how you're gonna take points off Brighton and them man there.
Mateos, I just want to warn you. The last person to say that on the terrace, it backfired heavily on them. So be careful. Be careful because I will be back to collect these Arsenal tears come April, May time because I know exactly what's about to happen. So don't get me started.
I'm going to get onto Arsenal a bit later. Welcome, Kaz, to the show. Before we move on to the next subject, voted for by the viewers, just want to get your score predictions for Man United, West Ham. What are you saying, Igal?
2-1 Man United. I think it's going to be a tight game, but you guys win it.
Sam?
1-1.
Patrick?
I think Man United win quite comfortably, 3-1.
Monstar?
1-1.
And Kaz?
I think it's going to be a 1-0 or 2-1 to Man United. I don't think it's going to be an easy one.
Certainly not easy, but I'm hoping everyone's right and we get the win. But everyone is voting for a win. That would be great. Next talking point. We'll do the super chat first. Actually, Patrick, are you for real? That's the way Spurs have played all season, especially against Chelsea, United, and Man United. Lord of mercy. I don't want to laugh.
I'll go keep.
Imagine Andrew saying it like that.
I've never seen Hugo Lloris take 2 minutes for a goal kick. I've never seen that personally. So I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm timing Hugo Lloris.
I've never seen our players roll around and pretend that they're injured or take 3 minutes to walk off on the centre pitch. Callum Wilson and whoever Bruno Gomares took like 10 minutes to walk off the pitch. I've never seen that happen personally. So I don't know what you lot are talking about. But hey, we move in it. We move.
You've never seen your players.
I've never seen that. I've never seen that in my life ever.
That's because Harry Kane's too busy injuring players back in.
No, that's true. Harry Kane is one of the biggest cheats in the league.
He's terrible like that. Viewers, make sure like buttons are being smashed for us today. As we said at the top of the show, we are sponsored today by NordVPN. Now, as you all know, it's very important to protect your data online, all your personal details, cards, etc., and also ensure no one's hacking into your internet at home. What's also really important for when you're out and about and you're using Wi-Fi at a shopping mall, an airport, ensuring that your phone is completely encrypted and protected at all times is key, because hackers love to circumvent public Wi-Fi. That's all great, and it's very, very cheap. We can give you your first 4 months free on a brilliant 2-year plan. Link for that is in the description or QR code above me. However, brilliant discounts that you can get using this as well. We've already mentioned Setanta Sports out of Moldova, $2.99 a month for all the sport you can imagine. There's Peacock from America for streaming Premier League football, including the 3 o'clock games. But there are many other things available to you as well. Also, you can get cheaper flights. There are hotels and even cheaper shopping when it comes to Amazon. Depending on what country you put your location in, you can get products cheaper than being here in the UK or in the United States of America. A little bit of exploration is needed, but I bought some computer games for my younger cousins and godchildren recently. And honestly, what's FIFA? About 60 quid over here?
I paid 90 quid for it the other day.
90 quid. Sorry,
that.
about 90 quid. Sorry, that's what I get. I got my games for about the equivalent of £60. So I saved around £30 per game. I had to buy 5 of the son of a gun. So make sure you get signed up to NordVPN.
Hey.
Protect yourself, and then all the discounts become available. I've got some descriptions in some things you've got to do in the description to make it work properly. So make sure you check that out. Scan that QR code above my head. I made it a bit bigger because some of you said it was a little bit small and you couldn't scan it earlier today. But get that done. Get yourself signed up, and especially the Moldovan sports thing. Honestly, $2.99 a month, and that is the Liga, Premier League, every game, by the way, UFC. If you like the NBA, NFL, everything, all on there for $2.99 a month. It's mad. And just watch it on my phone, and you can have it up to 6 devices, including smart TVs as well. Chelsea. I want to have a little chat about Chelsea. They were next on the vote. Chelsea are very underrated at the moment. No one's really bigging them up. No one's overly slagging them off. There just seems to be a bit of a lull. There's talks of Declan Rice coming in, Bruno Gomes, Christopher Nkunku. New technical directors in. The form under Graham Potter has been pretty good. Only Newcastle with 3 points more, but they've played a game more. Arsenal only 2 points more. That's since Graham Potter has been there. So the form hasn't been bad. 2 draws on the bounce wouldn't have gone down too well. What are you saying, Monstar? Are you happy with life under Todd B and Graham Potter? And why are Chelsea so underrated right now?
I don't know about underrated. In terms of am I happy under Potter? I mean, it's been good. I'm not going to sit here and say it's great or it's rubbish, blah blah. The guy hasn't even had no time to really put his stamp on. My issue has always been there's certain players here who we need to get rid of. Like they need to go. They're holding us back. The only way we're moving forward is if we get rid of them. Luckily, some of their contracts are expiring come the end of the season. Obviously, not Kante. I love Kante, but it might be time to just move on because we're struggling to keep him fit for more than 5 games. So we might have to move on. But his partner, who's next to him, his contract is expiring at the end of the window. We thank God. He will be moving. And there's a couple more that need to go. But apart from that, this is the problem with Chelsea fans, right? They'll watch the Champions League game and lose their mind. But then they forget that these guys, they don't struggle in the Champions League. They struggle for consistency in the Prem. In the Prem, they are average. Like, they are completely average. They'll drop a 10 out of 10 in the Champions League, and in the Prem on a Saturday, they drop a 5. We do this over, and it becomes this conveyor belt of Chelsea fans saying, we were great. You're in the mud, blah, blah, blah. And then the next day, they're shit again. So I don't know. I don't know what to imagine with Chelsea or where we're going to go. I don't know. I think we're going to get top 4, yeah, because the other guys, let's be serious, they're not really doing anything, but we'll get top 4, yeah.
Yo, I love how you just ignore Jorginho. You don't even say his name anymore.
He's
You lot were
He's
screaming
holding
Ballon
my.
d'Or shouts 2 years ago, by the way. All Chelsea
Listen, don't
fans were
get me.
saying that,
Listen,
Georgie. So
let
this
me
is
address
crazy.
that because people get at me because there's a video about me screaming about Jorginho to win a Ballon d'Or.
Yeah,
Listen,
yeah,
if any
yeah.
player from my club is being nominated for Ballon d'Or, I'm backing it. Like it's bragging rights, bro. It's bragging rights. Are you not gonna back it? You get what I mean? So,
You're
but
so
it doesn't
shameless.
make him not
You're
Yeah,
good.
so shameless.
the drop off is crazy. The drop off is crazy.
It's not. No. Let me explain this to you. It's not a drop off. What happened was he was great in the Euros and the Champions League, but that season he was shit in the Premier League, and he has always been bad in the Premier League. He has never had a good season in the Prem, never since he's been at Chelsea FC. That's what people get twisted. So now we're seeing it. Now we're seeing it, and he's not the only one. As P, I know a lot of people rave about Kovacic, but Kovacic is not as good as people try to make him out to be. He's not. Do you get what I mean? Yeah.
I think he's
Let
good,
me not
man.
get
Every
into
time I
that
see him
'cause
play, he's doing bits. I don't know. I'm
No,
surprised at
because
you
you
for that
see,
one.
no. What you see is him dribbling past 2 or 3 players, but you never look at what he's doing after that. People were talking Salzburg. It's Salzburg, my bro. Salzburg is not the standard we should be looking at. I'm talking about let us go against Brighton on a weekend and let them man do something. If they can't, that Salzburg win means nothing to me. I'm sorry. The Prem is the bread and butter.
So who you calling overrated besides Jorginho on your team?
Jorginho's overrated. I think Kovacic is overrated. I'm sorry.
Kovacic is overrated.
Yes, I think he's over. Chelsea fans think he's world class. Kovacic is not a world class player. For you to call him world class, you are overrating him. He's not. He's not a world class player. So if you think he's world class, I'm sorry. He's overrated. Like
he is
he a world class player, Husam?
He's very injury prone though.
But forget the injury. Is he a world class player to you?
When he plays, absolutely.
You see, overrated. Overrated. How is he a world
I would
class
snap
player?
your hand off for Kovacic right now if he was
that's
available.
Not why
I think Kovacic is your best midfielder, by the way.
I agree.
Our best midfielder, barring injury, if there's no injuries, our best midfielder is Kante. There's not even a question about it. If Kovacic is just as injury prone as Kante is. So if you're saying who's our best midfielder,
Nah, he's not. He's not as injury prone as Kante. Kante can't even play 2 games these days.
Listen, hold on. Kovacic has not played more than 23 league games since he's been at Chelsea. Can you not tell me that's injury prone? Kante has completed more than 23 games a season. If you think I'm lying, go check it out.
What about your player this season, Mason Mount?
Huh?
Mason Mount.
Him too. Like he can get it, bro. Anybody in this Chelsea team can get it. Mason Mount. The only thing I'll say about Mount is Mount dropped 29 GA last season. I can't have a go at him if you dropped 28 GA last season. What can I say? Like, how much can I really get him if you dropped 29 goals and assists last season? Do you get what I mean? So those are tangibles. If you're bringing tangibles to my team, I can't really chat shit about you. But if you can't bring tangibles to the team and the only thing you can give me is that you could dribble past 2 or 3 players. Okay, Mr. Dribbler, you dribble past 2 or 3 players. What next? Where does the ball go? It goes backwards and we have to start again.
This Monstar speaking. Who hacked you, bro?
Huh?
You know, Monstar.
Who hacked you? Since when do you rate GA so highly?
GA, listen. GA is important. I know people it's important. That's how you win games. Let's not do this whole GA and blah blah.
Remember you said this when we have a certain debate, Monstar. Remember you said
no. Can anyone sit here and tell me goals and assists is not important in football? How are you going?
It is important, but Kovacic has never been a goals and assists guy his whole career.
So, but he's not good. Hold on, he's playing in midfield, right? He's not good defensively. None of them are. The only good defensive player in that midfield is Kante, and he's not good. His passing is kind of one-dimensional. So if you're talking about him breaking lines and things like that, he can't do that either. So what is it? How is he meant to take our club forward if he can't do none of that?
That's
what is Kovacic? So is he a DM? He's a DM, right?
Thiago doesn't get GA.
He's a central midfielder.
Yeah, he's. I don't know.
Thiago doesn't get GA, Monstar, and people rate him, man.
Why aren't you judging your attack on the GA, not your midfielders?
Yeah, talk to me about Sterling's GA. Those people matter.
Hold on. I'm not judging him on GA. I think Husam brought up GA, but I was just talking about tangibles, right? You said when I'm looking at Thiago, right? Constantly, he's breaking those lines. He's getting the ball to the person that's gonna make the assist. I can't see any Chelsea midfielder doing that. What Chelsea's midfield constantly do is they're very good at keeping a hold on the ball and constantly recycling. When you ask them to do anything apart from that, they cannot do it. They can't. They don't have the capabilities. Their passing is very, very limited. It just is what it is. It's just facts. You can go look it up.
So you don't
Guys,
blame any of your
I'd love
attackers.
to stay here to shit on Arsenal, but unfortunately I have to go now. So apologies. See you guys later. I wish we had the Arsenal thing on now. I would have given you something to clip, Terry. You get me? But it is what it is.
No, speak to you soon, Sam. Speak to you soon,
Yeah,
mate.
let's see you guys, man. See you guys.
Yo, Monstar.
Take care,
Go on.
I'm just looking at Raheem Sterling. I'm looking at Aubameyang. I'm looking at all these guys, and you guys are like the same things keep happening every time you buy attackers. Every time you buy attackers, they just keep messing up. So you're saying it's the midfield and it's nothing on the attackers.
You're
not blaming them
my
at all.
thing is, so I asked at the beginning of the season when I came on here, right? I said if Aubameyang and people, you can look up the clip that's there. I said if Aubameyang and Sterling turn out to be exactly how Lukaku's and all these guys are, what are we going to blame it on? Because guys can't. Aubameyang, as much as obviously people take the mick out of him, he scored a lot of goals at Barcelona. And Sterling, we know who Sterling is. These guys, strikers and attackers, can't keep coming to Chelsea and failing, and we're just saying it's the attackers. It makes no sense. Meanwhile, when we're watching our midfielders, they're unable to get the ball to the attackers. You have to actually go to the games to see it. I've been to, last season I went to so many games, and I'm watching Lukaku, I'm watching Werner last season, Mount, all these guys making brilliant runs. The ball will never come to them. What they will do, and Jorginho and these guys will do, is they will turn the ball back and start recycling all over again, allowing teams to reset. How are we meant to penetrate teams that way? It's just not possible because you keep allowing defenses to reset. When Liverpool make a move, it's 2 passes, boom, 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 straight to the attackers. With Chelsea, that same move is 6 passes. A team will reset its defense. How are we meant to freaking score goals if we keep allowing teams to do that? We're not going anywhere. I'm sorry. But these players, the experiment is over. We've done it for about 5 years. That experiment now is over. It's time to buy some real players that are going to penetrate defenses. It's time. These man.
Well, in fairness, listen, I like Kovacic. I think he's very good. But that's it. I think he's very good. When you talk about the other, is he world class? Maybe if he could stay fit and get a long run of games, he'd go to another level. But you are right about the passing. You don't have midfielders that can consistently break lines with their passing. Kovacic does it by carrying the ball forward, and you need a mixture. I think Kovacic is a great talent to have in your team if you've got other midfielders that can pass the ball as well. But it's about balance and it's about a mixture. Man United added Casemiro and Christian Eriksen, and because of their passing ability, we're passing through the lines so much easier. We know City's players can pass through their lines as an example. So I do agree with you on that, and I think sometimes your attack is left a little bit out to dry. Kaz, what's your take on Chelsea right now? Because obviously you've seen sort of Monstar give his view there as a Chelsea fan. Do you feel like they're being underrated, overrated, or kind of just left to kind of simmer on their own? Like, because there doesn't seem to be any hype from anyone about Chelsea at all, or is that right for now? Like, what's your take?
Nah, look, you can go back weeks ago to when I done my prediction. I said Chelsea would finish second, third doesn't make a difference to me. The fact that Potter hasn't even lost with Chelsea yet, the fact that he's only just getting his philosophy across, and yet they're in a position where they are with a game in hand, says a lot of what I need to know about Chelsea currently, because they're only going to get better, especially in January. They are going to spend. And don't get me wrong, they are a bit boring, a bit crap to watch in the eye level, but they're still getting results regardless. They're playing for the manager. It's just like, I get it. I can see doubts. People want them to fail. I want them to fail as a Manchester United fan, but Potter's going to get he's going to get across at some point. And if this is the Chelsea that are crap, or what people think that are crap right now, then if I'm a Chelsea fan, I'm like, you know what? Okay, cool. That's a bit like us. We were looking crap at one point, especially after the Brentford game. And then he kept moving forward and forward and forward to get good results. That's exactly where Chelsea are right now. They're just moving forward. It might take a little bit more time, but they're still getting results. So if I was a Chelsea fan, I'm sitting back thinking, oh, our rival fans think we're crap right now. I'm taking that all day long, because certain managers have had more time than what my manager has, and we're above them. So what is it? That's the way I would look at it personally. I think Chelsea got a decent squad. I think they're going to get even a better squad. So yeah, man, I think Chelsea got nothing to worry about, even if they are a bit sore on the eye. But it's just because they got the same team. Like, don't get me wrong, I get it. I get what Gal's saying. Or Sterling, I feel like he needs to go up a gear. But I think all the players need to go up a gear a little bit. Kukureya's not even on form at the moment. He's 60 million down at 61 million, and all that. Aubameyang maybe he needs to get a bit more on the score sheet. Maybe the right hand side's evident. They got a couple injuries that affect them on their side. If I'm a Chelsea fan, I'm like, you know what, we're doing right now with what we currently got. And that's what it is. So, yeah, man.
I mean, Sammy here says, why is it everybody's acting like Chelsea are in a rebuild? They finished third and added 300 million on top of that. They should be higher. I think rebuild. I mean, you've got to be fair with Chelsea. New owners, new manager, new style. There is a lot of new things going on at the club. So I don't think it's just as simple as spending money. And they still need more. But you look at the two players they're linked to in midfield right now, Bruno Guimaraes and Declan Rice. You put them two midfielders into this Chelsea team, they're a different level. I do think they and we know they want to add someone different to Aubameyang because they even said when they bought him, they literally said he's a makeshift. We know this. They're going to look for an out-and-out number 9 as well. So I kind of look at Chelsea a bit like you, Kaz. I don't even want to banter him, even when their own fans aren't happy, because they're going. I said it when the sanctions happened. Chelsea are going nowhere, and the fact that they're still sitting in 4th position, sorry, just outside for 5th, just behind Newcastle, with all the transitions and issues that they've had, they're gonna come good for me. Chelsea are gonna come good for me, whether it's this season or next. They're gonna be there or thereabouts, no doubt.
They get the director of football.
Their issue is their fault, though. It's our fault because let me tell you this, and this is shocking, right? We haven't spent no money in midfield since 2018. Was it 2019? And the last person we bought in midfield in 2019 was Kovacic. That is shocking. All these years we've been buying attackers, we've been buying defenders, and you've neglected probably your most important part of the pitch. Your pitch where you build everything, or every defense starts from, attack starts from. You've completely abandoned that over the years. Tuchel, big ups to Tuchel, he won the Champions League. He's a criminal. I'm sorry. The reason why he's a criminal, a year ago, he was crying that he only had 3 midfielders and he needed a midfielder. But then when they gave you Tchouaméni as an option, you turn him down and then you end up taking Saul. Then this summer, they were asking him, what about your midfield? He said this in the press conference. He said this, I don't need a midfielder. He said that with his own mouth. And then one midfielder goes down and then they start scrambling. They bid for Edson Alvarez. They bid for Lavia of Southampton. And on the last day, they panic and loaned Zakaria, who hasn't touched the pitch. What kind of criminal business is that for a club? Like, that's disgusting to me. You know your midfield is shit.
Must be a German thing. It must be a German thing, because that's exactly what Klopp did as well this year. Like, identical. Like, don't need a midfielder, and then shit, maybe I do. It must be a German thing. But Chelsea just in such an interesting position to me. As I say, like I kind of look at what you're trying to build. And that's why I can't sleep on you. The fact that you could end up by this time next year with Declan Rice, Bruno Guimaraes, or a player of that level, if you can't get him away from Newcastle, Rafael Leao, Christopher Nkunku, like the players you're looking at with the manager you've got, Chelsea are going to be there or thereabouts. But this weekend's a tough game, though. You go away to Brighton. I know Brighton don't score too much, but it can be a tough place to go. The return of Graham Potter. How do you think it's going to go, mate?
I think
sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
I think we'll be able to win that one. I think it's going to be a boring game, but what matters to me right now is just get as many points as possible. I'm not really caring right now about the entertainment factor. We just got to get over the line by the World Cup and chill, and hopefully by the time the World Cup is over, the likes of Kante and Reece James will be back. So I think we can win that one. I think we can. We might get played off the park again, because we saw what happened against Man United. Jesus Christ. But we could steal some points.
Stole a point then.
Yeah. What you saying, Igal? Is this going to be returning back to winning ways for Chelsea, or can you see some more drop points?
It just smells like a boring 1-0 Chelsea win. I know Brighton are a good team, especially how they've been over the last couple of years. But I just feel like if anyone knows Brighton's weaknesses, it's their former manager, and he's going to be able to capitalize on that at some point or another throughout the match. But yeah, I don't know what system are Chelsea going to even play with. Are they going to do what they did in the Champions League with attackers in wing-back positions? Because that was interesting to see.
We dare not. We can't do that. No way.
Yeah, what are you saying, Kaz? What's your score prediction for that game?
I'm gonna go with 1-0, and if not 2-2. I just don't like Brighton. Have not. It's not exactly like Brighton have played bad or anything like that. They can get a goal here and there. Being at home is a bit of a. It does help, and I think the crowd is going to be a little bit more hostile as well. So yeah, 12th man can play its game. I think it will be a different. It could go either. Yeah. 2-2. A bad man will score as well.
Yeah, Patty, what you saying?
Yeah, I had 1-1 score draw, and I'm going to stick to that. I think that Brighton are a good team. Chelsea, I'm not sure. I still don't know what I'm going to get with Chelsea. We know they're a good team. We know they've got quality all over the pitch, but you still don't know what you're going to get. And I think Brighton will come out and play, especially, the crowd will be all over Graham Potter, and the players will have a point to prove as well. So I think it's going to be a good game. 1-1 score draw.
There we go. I'm going to go 2-1 Chelsea. I think they'll win this game. I think it'll be another one, another notch on the bedpost, as it were. Next talking point, people. Actually, I'm going to do super chats first, and we'll do the talking point here. Patrick, are you for real? Oh, sorry, we already had that one there from Winter Surfer. Sorry, don't think I unstarred some of these. Charlie Patino is already a better version of De Jong. If Ten Hag gets him. If Ten Hag gets him, it's over. Unique talent. Yeah, because Richarlison doesn't fall over the grass is what there's obviously back to Patrick a little bit earlier. A Chelsea fan here. This is Moose Wizard who says we are cautiously optimistic, but I think chemistry has been lacking. We are close, missing James, Fofana, Kante, but time as well. Thanks, Moose Wizard. Chelsea with some new midfielders are terrifying. Sounds like a title of one of my videos, to be fair. I hate when you guys try to negate J5 fantastic 2020-21 season because he's average now. If not, name 5 players that were better than him in that season. What are you saying to that, Monstar?
Yeah, he was great in the Champions League and the Euros, but Blaze, just do some research and go back to the Premier League and watch how he performed in the Prem. It was shocking.
There we go. We can buy Haaland, and we wouldn't have scored with how one-dimensional our midfield is what C's got to say. J5 is useful in Europe, but the Premier League has no boo-boo juice. A lot of our problems stem from people having to cover for J5's lack of transition. And Dexter here says, if Chelsea win versus Salzburg, etc., don't count for Jorginho, then it doesn't for Potter too. Proper poor antics to belittle Jorginho, cover TT, but praise Lukaku is what Dexter says.
That's a fact. Yeah, he got that damn right. Like, he ain't lying. No, I'm playing. I mean, football fans are hypocritical, right? They talk about Lukaku. When the news came out that Lukaku was bullying the players and blah, blah, this and that, they were all going in on Lukaku. But when it came out that Tuchel was bullying Lukaku, they were all like, yeah, that's my manager, blah, blah. Like, people don't keep the same energy. So I don't care. I ain't keeping the same energy either.
What is boo-boo juice? Anyone know?
No idea.
According to Google, if I say that, I might get cancelled.
Yeah, no, this is here. Boo-boo juice used to describe when it doesn't say woman, it's a different word. Woman gives you the stank eye, and you need to put her in her place. I don't know.
I've got another one. I've got another one for you. This is wait, why does it say this? Boo-boo juice is Paul Merson, rum, vodka, and gin and that, and beer mixed together. Ugh. Oh, that sounds bad.
Maybe it is. The person who says it, let us know. And then I also got a picture. Do you remember that reality show in America called Honey Boo Boo? She's come up. The Honey Boo Boo is funny. Arsenal. Why Arsenal? Why are Arsenal, Egal, being doubted? They have had a couple of poor games, a couple of poor performances, but suddenly Jesus is overrated. The wheels are gonna fall off. You're leveling out. You're gonna fall behind very quickly. What's going on? What's going on, Igal?
I feel like everyone's just been waiting for any sense of doubt or concerns to creep in. And you know what? We've played away from home for the last couple of games. We haven't had the best performances. We haven't been dominating games as much as we have. We haven't been scoring as many goals as we have. But yet, this is only our second loss of the season. It's only 3 games this season where we've dropped points. And it's like the overreactions are staggering. Now, there are some concerns about the fact that we've only been scoring like one goal over the last couple of games, and the fact that we have been showing a little bit of fatigue in some of our performances. But I also put that to everyone showing this kind of form over the month of October. A lot of people have been seeing a drop off from their performances in their teams. You look at Manchester City; they've actually dropped more points than us this month. You look at a lot of other teams; they've had similar performances throughout this month. Because guess what? All of our teams are playing either midweek and on the weekend, and it's going to be like this until the World Cup or until the European competitions are over. So I just think it's a little bit of an overreaction, but yet there are some things that I can take away and say, you know what, we need to improve on those things.
What are you saying, Patty? Are Arsenal leveling out? Are they running out of gas? Did they peak too soon? Or is this literally the same as Man City, by the way? Man City have won 1 game in their last 4 and failed to score in 3 of them. Is this just the same for Arsenal? They're just in a little bit of poor form.
I mean, I got to keep the same energy and consistency because I said that we're going through a little bad patch. So I guess Arsenal are as well. I just think, like I said to a gal, and people said I was deflecting. I actually wasn't. I was just speaking on what we're speaking on now. Arsenal are struggling to score more than 1 goal in the game. So it's going to be interesting to see where their goals come from, because Jesus, I think, hasn't scored since he scored against us, isn't it? It's been a while since he's actually scored. So, yeah, they're leveling out. They're not playing as dynamic and as cutting-edge football as we saw. It'll be interesting to see what happens. This is the thing, European football at its finest. When you're playing 2 games a week and the games are tough now, you know, you played good opposition in PSV. They're a decent, almost, you know, they're just a bar below Champions League, but they're obviously really good and they're much better than most of the teams in the Europa League. They're a good team, hence how the games he played against them. So, yeah, and Arsenal now have to, you know, continue to get points on the board because the chasing pack are going to be, everyone's going to be up for playing Arsenal now because of how they've started the season. So you're now considered a big scalp. I mean, you've always been a big club, obviously, but this year teams are going to be up for playing them, and you're seeing that. So it's going to be interesting to see. Like I said, I need to see more from Arsenal in terms of goal scoring and the distribution of goals. So yeah, I'm watching with a keen eye.
You say that about goal scoring, but you know, last night was the first game that we didn't score a goal in a game this season. So it's not as bad as you're making it seem.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying you're struggling to score more than 1 goal a game, and that is a legit statement.
What do you make of this comment here that says the style that Arsenal are doing causes a lot of fatigue? You can't keep that style up for a whole season. What are you guys saying? That because it was the start of the season, it was very energetic. We saw what they did to Chelsea in pre-season. Even it was like a million miles an hour. Is there a case to say that that Arsenal might be burning themselves out?
They might need to get some inhalers, man.
I think the way that we play. What? What'd you say?
You might need some inhalers.
Nah, stop that. Listen, we're not Liverpool, but when it comes to the whole thing about fatigue, we play so intense in the first opening minutes that we usually beat teams in the first 20-30 minutes of games where we bag a goal or we grab a couple opportunities to put ourselves ahead. And if it means that later in games we need to manage the game better, that's on Mikel Arteta and the players. They need to manage themselves better. But the whole fatigue thing, it's not about the style of play. It's the fact that we try to win games in the first half. And that's what we've been doing for majority of these games this season.
I don't think you boys got anything to worry about. If everyone else is everyone's allowed a bad patch, man. Tottenham allowed a bad patch. United are, Chelsea are. I don't think there's much to worry about, man. I think you're a bit lucky you got Nottingham Forest on the weekend, to be fair. Like, Jesus might not score now. I guarantee he goes packs 2 in against Forest. But all I'm gonna say, Gal, yeah, I said this to Mons, innit? Make sure you beat. Before I say it, make sure you beat Forest,
bro.
I swear
I'll tell you
down next
something.
week.
I have a 100% record at the Emirates. I'm not
Wait,
losing it.
so
That's
hold on,
nice.
hold on.
That's okay. That's okay. Like I said,
See-
Gal, make sure you beat Forest because I'm coming. I'm coming
If
like
my-
every
my,
Monday,
um,
like I did to
hold on,
Monty. You're
hold
not
on,
gonna
hold on.
like me. Just make sure
Listen,
you beat
My
them.
projection
If
for
I'm in the
Arsenal.
Emirates, it's guaranteed 3 goals. We're
Hold on,
winning.
you got my projection for Arsenal to drop was it's from the second round of the Europa League onwards, because that's when the games start coming thick and thin. And you know, the Europa League's a lot of games. So have they got out of their group yet? Or they're on the have they got out of their group?
No, we need one
Yeah,
more
they've
point
qualified.
to secure it.
They've
Oh,
qualified.
that's
We've
good.
qualified, but we need
I
one more
I
point
think
to secure it.
I think for now they'll be all right. But once you know they start to get to the quarterfinals, semi-finals, if they get there, the Europa League, that's where I feel sorry for. I don't know how they're going to survive all those games because I don't think they have the squad for it. So let's see how Arteta maneuvers it. But I think that's when they start to drop and start to get in that race for the top 4 with everyone else.
You know what? Just like everybody else's teams, I hope my team strengthens in January too. Because we're hearing about Chelsea wanting to strengthen. We're hearing about Man United wanting to buy a striker. I would be happy if over the moon actually if we can get a midfielder and if we can get another person to play in that front 3 that could help us out, give rotation to either Martinelli or Saka or even Jesus, depending on who that person is. Right now, I feel like Arsenal might be lining up to have themselves a decent window in the January window, and that would be bringing in 2 bodies. If we can bring in a midfielder and if we can bring in that winger, that could elevate our team to not only in the league but also competing on all fronts, be it in the cup competitions, in the domestic cup competitions, and in Europe.
Look, I feel like, yeah, listen, I think it can go either way. I don't think Arsenal win the league as of right now. What would have been interesting if you'd have beaten Southampton, though? I was so desperate for you to do it because you'd have been on 30 points after 11 games. And no team in the history of the Premier League has been on 30 points or more after 11 games and not won the league. In fact, there'd only have been 3 other teams in the history of the Premier League, City, Liverpool, and Chelsea, to have 31 points after 11 games. And I went back to like the 80s. I couldn't find any team with that many points after 11 games. Like, that's how well Arsenal have started. So top 4 has to be a guarantee from this point, because I'm just talking pure maths. To fall off from this point of being Arsenal and not make top 4 is the biggest collapse in Premier League football history. Factually, like, you can't get away from it. Like, they have to maintain it, and I'm sure they will. Investment in January is key. But I do think people are kind of jumping on the bandwagon of, I knew they wouldn't maintain their early season form. Well, of course, not for 38 games, because nobody really does. I think it would be crazy to think they would maintain that. It's how they bounce back. And I think, Kaz, you're bang on. Like, having Forest at home after a couple of poor results is the perfect tonic, because you should be putting 3 or 4 goals past them. They're open, they can barely defend, and they're away from home. They don't even have the home support to help them. It's a really important game, because you then have a very hard week. You've got Zurich, which you'll beat. You'll beat them. But you can't take too many risks and rotate too much of your first team, because if you do and you lose that, it's extra games in February. And as Monstar points out, that's a tough time of the season. And then on Sunday, 12 p.m. kickoff, you play Chelsea. So you have to, you need to get this Forest game and Zurich game won early so you can take players off and rest, because you don't want to be going into that Chelsea game on the back of 2 very intense games against Forest and Zurich. If you're winning just 1-0 in those matches and you're not putting them to bed, you can't afford to make 4 or 5 substitutions and throw on some kids and throw on some fringe players, because you won't want to take the risk. So it's going to be a really interesting week for Arsenal to see how they kind of handle it. But equally, you could come out this next week with 3 wins, and suddenly everyone's like, wow, maybe you can win the league. So I think it's going to be a very intriguing and very entertaining week from an Arsenal perspective, definitely.
Terry, I'm not too worried. But one thing that's kind of got me upset, people always getting on to Ramsdale nowadays. Now, he had a shocker versus PSV. I'm not gonna lie, but we're still forgetting that this guy is extremely young for a goalkeeper. Goalkeepers don't peak until they're close to 30. So as a 24-year-old, being compared to all the top goalkeepers in this league who are all in their 30s or reach their prime, to compare him to that at this moment in time, we're almost like saying he's not going to get any better, or goalkeepers don't get any better from the age of 24. Like, it's extremely harsh to just write him off and say he's absolutely garbage, or that he's this guy who's costing us games, because the last couple games, our performances from a lot of players has been poor. It wasn't only on Ramsdale against Southampton. It wasn't only on Ramsdale against PSV. Realistically, it was against the majority of the players in the team dropped
Okay,
off.
let me ask you a question. By the way, I love how when we get onto Arsenal, your voice actually changes. You speak slower, you speak calmer. It's so funny. You literally change it up, right? But you said it last night on the match reaction, and again now. You spoke about Nketiah and backing him. Jesus' lack of goal, Ramsdale in goal. You keep saying loads of players aren't playing well, but at the same time, you defend each and every single player and go, well, it isn't about blaming individuals. So if lots of individuals are playing badly and they're not to blame, but then the team is still failing in terms of performances, I asked you last night, why though? And who is to blame then? What is it? The only other person left is Arteta in the system, right? Like, what is it?
I'm looking at how we play away from home, because our form away from home.
Okay, that's why though. It's either individual players not delivering in the system or the system. Or am I missing something? I'm not even trying to put you on the spot, but you don't want to blame any individual player and you don't want to blame the manager. So why are you not performing?
I'm looking at the second half, and I am looking at Arteta, and I'm saying, how is it that you've brought on even our big boys, and we still couldn't get something? We couldn't even get solid in that second half for his PSV. But at the same time, I'm not overreacting and saying, oh, this is going to be the norm going forward. I am looking at the manager, and I'm looking at certain players when they mess up. But it was a combination of poor defending and at times individual errors. So that can't only be on the manager.
Is that poor defending because individual mistakes, or poor defending because the system wasn't working, or the system wasn't good enough? Like, I'm not even trying to put you on the spot.
I would say
the second goal was Ramsdale. Like, you can't blame the manager for Ramsdale
100%.
missing a punch. Like,
Yeah.
Equally, like in the game against Southampton, I don't blame Arteta overly because your attackers missed 3, 4, 5 gilt-edged chances to make the game 3 or 4-0. That's individual player mistakes for me, not your system.
Yeah. But then Ramsdale shouldn't have been beaten like that for the goal. You know, Southampton, don't get me wrong, it was a good run, but Ramsdale didn't make himself big, and he literally gave him the whole goal to aim at.
Okay, so the midfield against PSV continuously got bypassed. The defense made an error in Ramsdale leading to a goal, and on the final third, we were not clinical.
Okay, so I'm going to pull you out this again. You said the defense. What do you mean by the defense?
In that game, you had against Southampton, Saliba got beat, and in the game versus PSV, you found another situation where one of our defenders got beat.
So that's not in defense. That's not in the defense letting you down. That's Rob Holding and Saliba getting taken on there. So that's individual. That's my point. I'm not trying to dig you out. Everything you've said to me, just how you're wording it, is individual mistakes that are costing you.
Yes, individual mistakes, and at times it was literally the whole team dropping their intensity in the second half, both games. So that could mean fatigue from the first half, or it could just be a combination of what everyone's been telling us.
So why do you then push back against the criticism of individuals if it's individuals that are making the mistakes?
No, I am pushing back against the over-the-top criticism. I get that there's criticism, and you can have concerns about Jesus' form, right, Ramsdale, everybody else. I'm not avoid of not criticizing the players. I'm just saying when people take it over the top and call people overrated, or take points and say this guy's absolutely garbage and he has no job in this team, he shouldn't even be wearing the kit. That is where I say you're going too far, because it's like one mistake and Ramsdale's now terrible. And he shouldn't even be our keeper.
Who's saying that? Arsenal fans or rivals? Because rivals are always going to go over the top to banter you. That's our job. So Arsenal fans aren't saying that Ramsdale, are they?
No, there's always the one or two people. There's always the one or two people on social media that are the loudest that you hear going at individual players more than team performance.
Yeah, there is a couple, and I'm not gonna throw their names out there, but a gal's actually right on that one.
Let me tell you what I've heard, Terry. I've heard that Lacazette 2.0 in Jesus. That's what people were saying. I've heard people making fun of Ramsdale for the goal because Southampton put out a clip that people are making fun of Ramsdale, and you know people don't even call Thomas Partey by his name anymore. They call him number 5. Obviously, people don't even call Thomas Partey by his name anymore.
Yeah, but that's because of stuff we can't speak on. That's not to do with his ability.
I didn't even collate the two things. I did see a tweet today though. Mont sent this to me because I always put the tweet I wanted to speak about. And Mont sent this in saying Liverpool fans comparing Nunes to Jesus are such hypocrites. Look at the success Bobby Firmino has given us, providing more than GA. Take a look at yourselves. Do you guys feel a little bit like Jesus is being overlooked for his overall performances, his assists, the way he's lifted Arsenal to another level, just because he isn't the most prolific goal scorer? We kind of had it on the show last week. People saying he's overrated. Like he's not.
Yeah.
I mean, Monstar. Do you think he's overrated? Cad, do you think he's overrated?
No, he's not
he's a brilliant
overrated. I'll let you go
footballer,
though. Go on. Yeah.
There's going to be a time where Arsenal are going to want to elevate, right? They're going to need those goals from somewhere. So, boy, I don't know. That's why, listen, Jesus has always been a good player, but City wanted more. And that's why they got rid of him and they brought in Haaland. So that point will come with Arsenal. It's only a matter of time.
I disagree. I think Jesus. Look, we all thought that with Firmino and the goals that he needed to bring to Liverpool, but then I get it. They have Salah and Mane. I think Martinelli can potentially get to those levels in the future. I think Saka's output's tremendous, anyways. Why am I doing this? I hate Arsenal, bro. But no, I'm not saying they're ever gonna. He's not gonna be a Salah. That's the only issue. But I think Arsenal got more. Comparing Liverpool to the Arsenal part is that they got more threat going forward, the goals and stuff like they can go that way. But I think Arsenal, if they continue to be where they are, get top four, they're just going to get better players anyways. You know what I mean? Then they'll eventually get a star somewhere that scores bare goals. Every team does it. I think there's nothing wrong with Jesus, man. He's got 5 goals, 4 assists or something like that. I think 8 in total in the league anyways. There's another 20 odd games to go. No, sorry, am I right? Yeah, about 20 odd games to go. You're telling me you can't get at least 10 out of that? I think anyone that thinks Jesus is not that good is talking wasp, because you know what? I'm going to be the first person to be on that agenda, regardless as a rival, to jump on him anyways, just for the fun of it. But I would love him at somewhere like Man United, man. You're going to have to sacrifice a little to give a little. What other great number 9s are really out there that are really attainable, that can even do what Jesus can do all round? The only one that can do what Jesus does all round these days is like the Benzema, Harry Kane's and stuff. They can drop deep, assist. They can go up front and score. But Jesus is obviously not on that level. Of course not. But I don't think there's nobody else that's near that level, regardless. That is a fat gap, in my opinion.
Yeah, Kaz, I checked his stats. He definitely doesn't have 8 goals. He's got 5 goals and he's got 3 assists.
I mean, GA. Yeah, 3, 5. I mean,
yeah,
8 GA. That's what I'm talking about.
8. Okay, cool. Yeah,
it's what else he brings to the play, because we're seeing Xhaka get goals, bro. Because of Jesus' like general play and stuff like that, we're seeing Odegaard get into positions because Jesus is occupying a space that needs to be covered, and then he's in the roundabout post. Like he nearly got that Tierney goal. I think it was Tierney.
Jesus is a good player, but he's not an elite striker. Arsenal will need an elite striker, and he's not that guy. He's a good all-around player. He adds a lot to Arsenal now.
But I'm saying eventually, like maybe not this season or next season, eventually when they want to take it to the next level, they want to be challenging for the leagues. I'm not sure, if you're looking at Jesus to be your main source of, because I don't think Martinelli and Saka are going to give you those goals that Jesus can't. I'm sorry, I don't think they can give you enough of that. Like Salah and Mane were doing with Firmino. No way. So I don't know. It depends on what Arsenal go. I don't think he's going to be that guy anyway. I think he's a brilliant player all round, but as a striker, nah.
We need more goals in the team as a collective. Regardless.
Yeah, I think that's true.
I feel like Jesus only gets this level of criticism is because when we signed him, we bigged him up to a level where rival fans were like, "Yo, relax, he's not that guy." So I feel like that's the main thing, because like when he first came in, a lot of people were bigging him up a lot more than he was ever being bigged up.
Yeah, listen, that's natural. I just kind of feel with Jesus. I agree with what everyone's saying. I think he's never going to be that 35, 40 goal a season striker. He's never going to be a Haaland or anything like that. And you need to add more. I think the problem that some Gooners have got, and you've kind of done it a little bit today, Gal, is that a lot of Gooners don't want to speak in what they consider poorly of anybody. And look, Martinelli and Saka are very good young talents. But if you could sign another inside forward tomorrow that brings you another 20 goals in, you shouldn't be worried about one of those two missing out. And I think with Arsenal, and I know that Liverpool fans went through this even when they were winning, when they were linked to like Werner and Jota, and people would say, "Oh, who do you think might miss out?" No one. What do you mean, no one? And that's where I think some Arsenal fans are right now. It's, "Oh yeah, you guys are linked with signing Rafinha." Oh, who drops out the team then? No one. It's almost like you don't want to say that Saka might drop out or Martinelli might drop out, or no, we still need to improve. It's kind of a weird scenario that some people are in. Like, you want to sign better quality players, but no one in your first 11 drop out. It doesn't really make sense to me as a football fan, but maybe that's just me. Score prediction though against Forest. What are you saying, Igal? Are you say you're at the game?
Yeah, I'm going to the game Sunday, so
Okay.
I might not be able to make it for the match reaction this one time.
No,
but I'm telling
worries.
you won't have to worry because we're gonna win easy 3-0.
Are you gonna do it straight after the game? All the games like Man United, all you do it straight after, don't you, Terry?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I might call in live from Old Trafford. Why not, man?
There
I'll
we
rub it
go.
into you, man.
What's your score prediction, Kaz?
For the Arsenal game?
Yeah, Arsenal versus Forest.
3 or 4-0, man.
Yeah. Patrick?
4-0, unfortunately. Forest are crap.
It's horrible, isn't it, Patrick? It's horrible.
No,
isn't it?
yeah, like you can't defend. I can't defend Nottingham Forest away from home. I can't do it.
No, it's impossible. Impossible. What you saying, Monstar?
Yeah, it's going to be a whooping. I go 3-0.
3-0. Fair enough. And just on some of the other games, Liverpool Leeds. Anyone see any upsets there at Anfield?
No.
Nah, I think Liverpool should win, considering how, especially listening to Jesse Marsh the other day. he does not sound. Yeah, it's not looking. When managers are saying that, when managers are speaking like that, it's not looking good. It's not. So,
I agree. I agree, man. I see. Jesse, I think Leeds have got the worst record in the league in terms of last 5 games. They're the most off-form team. I think they've lost 4 on the bounce, especially away from home. I could get bad, man. I reckon there might be a goal for Leeds somewhere along the line, though. Somewhere.
You know what the kiss of death is?
They've drawn or lost their last 8 games.
Terry, you know what the kiss of death for managers is? When they start talking about Arsenal and Arteta's bad form from a couple years ago. The moment they start doing that, I know the guy's about to be gone soon. So I think Jesse Marsh is going to be gone soon.
He could be. Well, he could be. Having said that, where I think there could be a little banana skin tomorrow is the first game of the day, which is Leicester Man City, because Man City should beat them. But Leicester again. But you're doing that face Gal. But you look at Leicester's form in recent weeks; they're starting to improve. They're starting to get better. And I'm not saying that they will beat them. City could score 2 or 3 quick goals, end the game. But if that game gets beyond 40, 50 minutes and it's level, that's where Leicester can be dangerous. Maddison's in very good form. Vardy's now back in the team. They weren't the same. Like I was saying to someone the other day, I'm so glad we played Leicester away 2 months ago when they were like shite. Because I don't want to go to the King Power right now. But this is what happens every season. Look at West Ham. West Ham are getting better. Like I'm annoyed with playing, even though I'm confident of beating West Ham. I wish we were playing the West Ham of 5 weeks ago when they were looking really poor. Like there's time. It's like playing Arsenal. The best time to play Arsenal this season is now, right?
If you're a big team, not on Forest or a Leeds,
not a Forest or a Leeds, but I don't know. That's the one step up. So I'm going to go with a Liverpool win tomorrow, but I'm going to go with a draw, Leicester Man City. I'm going to go 1-1.
Is Haaland fit? Because I see that he's not.
Well, according to
he trained today. He trained.
So he's doubtful. He trained. He's doubt. According to who scored, they've got him as doubtful. But if they draw that game, Miguel, how excited are you going to be?
Ooh.
I need that.
I'm not getting sucked into this whole title thing. I don't
if they drop points to Leicester and you beat Forest, this guy's going to be outside the Emirates.
You could,
Man City fans, what are you? Come outside.
Listen, you could give City like an 8-point gap behind us, and I still wouldn't feel comfortable that we're going to win this.
Listen to this.
At this moment in time, we don't have the experience.
Listen to this about tomorrow. Tomorrow is our anniversary game of Vinchai, the King Power will be bouncing. So I think it's the anniversary of his passing. Things like that can sometimes, again, energy-wise. However, City score an early goal, that energy just goes poof. But it's going to be... by the way, Gal, I know why you're not doing the whole title race thing, because communist Arsenal haven't given you permission in the group chat yet, have they?
Bro, I had nothing to do with that. Literally, if I
you're not saying it because you're like, no, I don't want the big accounts online to kind of go at me. I'm going to toe the party line. Do you know what I
Bro,
mean?
Terry,
Does
our
your wife
chances-
know you're having an affair with these Arsenal accounts? They control you. Come on.
Allow it,
Stop it. Stop it.
Oh,
First
man.
things
Yeah,
But yeah,
First things first,
yeah.
I don't believe right now we have the experience or the squad to be even competing to win this league. So when to say challenge, I think if we still need a lot to go our way to challenge and to be there for the last 20 games. Bro, Terry, 11 games into the season. If I told you guys, oh, we're gonna be like this until the end of the season, you guys will be all criticizing me. So now you want me to say
No.
it.
Do you know what I think there's a. I think if I'm an Arsenal fan right now, there's a difference. Saying I'm going to win the league right now is mad. I think it's more. I look at Man United. People are asking me, could you be in the top 4 race? I've already said I'm going to wait for these next 6 matches because these next 6 matches are against teams that I think we should be beating if we're going to be in the top 4 race. If we win our next 6 games or we win 5 of our next 6 games, and we're still playing how we have been in the last few games, I'm going to have to back my club and go, of course we've got a chance because this is how we're playing now.
Terry,
You know?
tomorrow, if we went to Anfield or what do you call it, or we went to Tottenham Stadium, or we went to or we go to Stamford Bridge, and we see similar performances that we've seen at home versus Liverpool and Tottenham, then I will have more confidence in the season going forward. I still haven't seen us do that consistently away from home. This bad run that we're having right now is happening away from home. Majority of these games have been away from home.
Yeah.
Lucky that City have also only won about 1 in 4 as well, to be fair. Like, if you want to keep on that perch, I think you might have spoke about it a little bit earlier. So everyone has their ups and downs, man. Nothing to worry about for me, for Arsenal.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one indeed. Viewers, appreciate you all tuning in today. I really do. Before you leave, please smash the like button. It's very important to the channel. Thanks to everyone. I've seen a lot of people scanning the QR code, signing up to those Nord accounts. Aside from all the discounts you can get watching 3 o'clock games and cheaper subscriptions, and we had Have Hope on last week that was bigging it up because he's got HBO Max, the American version, cheaper, like and stuff like this. Aside from all the hacks that you can do, protect yourself against hackers, protect all your data online, especially if you're a streamer, a gamer, someone that shops online, uses Amazon, all these things like that. Protect yourselves at all time. Get it downloaded and get signed up now. We've got a very, very good deal for you where we'll give you 4 months free on a 2-year plan with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if after 30 days you're not happy, you can get a full refund on that as well. Until next time, everybody, take care of yourselves. Goodbye. God bless. My panel, you're amazing tonight. And we'll see you all again very, very soon.